I was cooking a dish from every single country in the world in alphabetical order. And then I just stopped. But I'm back now, and I'm in Burundi. Hello everyone, welcome to my kitchen and your kitchen for the next little bit too, and get comfortable. And what are we doing here? Well, this is a series where I cook a dish from all over this place, Earth. And I started this thing prior to my channel's growth in the midst of a pandemic. I thought it was a good challenge. And I kept at it for 28 countries. And then I kind of just stopped. So there's one more in B to go. And then the show got canceled, I guess. I just paused it. And I was focusing on other things, but I've always had it at the back of my mind. Like, I want to keep doing that. And I have a lot of you to thank for that, for always consistently asking where it went. I do want to bring it back, you know, like not all the time, but occasionally a country here, a country there. And I guess by the time I'm like 97 or something like that, I should be in the letter Z, depending on what country you're from. So we're back to B, and it's the last country in B, Burundi. So there it is, in East Africa, landlocked right there. The food consists of beans, peas, rice, sweet potatoes, wheat, cassava, bananas, plantains, corn. Did I say corn? But it's like, unfortunately, a very poor country too. So meat is harder to obtain, not as prevalent in their diet. Now I'm making this dish called Isombe, which is it's a crushed cassava leaf stew, which is common in Burundi and many neighboring countries too. With that, I'm gonna make a beans and plantains dish called IIbiharage. Sorry for pronunciation. Also, my wires might be crossed here because I was finding it kind of difficult to find truly authentic Burundian recipes on the internet. Might have to ask some of you for those next time. Anyway, that's what's on the menu. I'm gonna give it a shot. Let's get to it. Okay, so first of all, I've been meaning to make this recipe for like 6 months now. So the ingredients have been hanging out in the freezer for half the year. And here they are, right here. This is ground cassava leaves that I have just kept frozen. I am going to need 1 kilogram, 2.2 pounds. Okay, there we go. It is ground cassava leaves. They smell like grass. Dutch oven. The heat going on that, and there you go. There was a little water that was in with the leaves in the packaging. As soon as I heated that up though, it kind of goes away. And now I need, just a sec. 2 liters of water, enough to cover. Thankfully, I didn't just take a taste test because it says eating raw or incorrectly prepared cassava can lead to severe side effects due to the naturally occurring cyanide present in raw cassava leaves. Cyanide. Poison. So once that has boiled, I got it to a rapid boil for safety reasons. Sieve. Whoa. Okay, and I need to strain it. So much water is retained in those leaves. And then I gotta bring that back up to another boil for 45 minutes to an hour. Yeah, just keep an eye on that so nothing is like, you know, burning. Okay, so the recipe I'm following has you remove all the water, but I was just looking at some other ones and they didn't have you remove it. So I feel like if I just kind of split the difference, keep some of it in there while this boils for like an hour, I think that's wise, or it's just gonna all stick to the side of the pan and, you know, it's cooking along. Prep some veggies, start with green onion. I only need 4 of these. I think it would make sense just to utilize the entire green onion in this circumstance. It just says a green onion and cut it up into small pieces. I removed the top tough part and the stem, but the rest is open season here. Nothing goes to waste. I'm gonna do the same with these 2 green peppers. Again, into small pieces. And an onion. So I was actually only halfway through cutting that onion. Then I realized that that was for another recipe, but I've already combined it in with my other vegetables, and I'm using green onion, so it's just gonna be a little more onion. I think it's great. I have an idea. While I'm waiting for the cassava leaves to cook, the initial cooking, which is just finished, I was looking at other recipes. I just couldn't help myself. And for this recipe, it tells me to use beef spice cubes and use this as your beef flavoring in the stew. But I was looking at other recipes and they were using beef bones. And I had these in the fridge. I'm like, okay, why don't I just do something here? So I'm going to. Firstly, I'm gonna throw these into a hot oven for like half an hour while I do other things. Get some flavor on those. So this whole thing here with the cassava leaves, it has really dried out in there as expected. And the next step is to add the vegetables, although into the dry pan like this, I don't know. I feel like I need something, some fat or some oil, or I'm actually gonna add some of an ingredient that comes up later into the pan now, which is red palm oil, but I'm gonna add that in now just to kind of, you know, thinking maybe a little more water then. That helped. Okay, so in go the chopped vegetables. Cook that like so for 15 minutes. I feel like it needs a little more water or something. That whole step about draining the water has confused me. Yeah. After 15 minutes, I'm gonna add in a 1/4 cup of red palm oil minus what I already used. So 4 to 5 servings of ground nuts. That's peanuts. Okay, so now back to my plan. Okay, as I mentioned, this recipe does call for some beef flavoring minus like actual meat. So I just browned a whole bunch of beef bones, and to get the beef flavoring, rather than using like a bouillon cube, I'm gonna use these. And I'm just gonna keep those in the simmering pot until it's time to remove them. How about a little of that beef fat too? Yeah, just a little. Now, as I mentioned, that is to replace the flavor of these, the bouillon cubes. We'll see how it goes. If it needs a little more, then I'll add one of them. However, that being said, it does not replace the chicken flavoring that I'm gonna add with these Magi cubes. Now, these have come up in other African dishes that I've cooked. It says I need 3 of them. Now, when I first ordered them, they were cubes, and then today I picked up this, which is much bigger than a cube. It's asking for a cube, so I have 2 cubes. And then I'll just cut off a bit of this to equal that. Maggi seasoning, there it all goes. There it is. And then salt, but maybe don't add all the salt just yet because those cubes are probably really salty. Keep stirring to avoid everything sticking to the pan too. 30 minutes to an hour. We gotta keep this on a low heat and simmer. So split the difference. 45. Just going about my day here. I was about to move on to the next thing, and then I realized I am missing a crucial ingredient, which is, I just forgot about it. It's spinach. It says spinach is key. It balances out the bitterness. Do not skip this step at whatever cost. So I won't. I shall not, and I just need to chop this up. This comes to a 1 package worth of spinach here. Just do it in batches there, son. So, okay, and it goes. That probably should have gone in with the other vegetables around 15 minutes ago, but you know it's gonna wilt away into nothing. Okay, so while that's simmering away for the next hour, I am going to prepare this bean and plantain dish. IIbiharage? All right, let's start with an onion, chop it up into pieces that I see fit. Okay, so I need a plantain, and ooh, look at that blackened skin. That means it's ripe. It means it's sweeter than if it were not like that, if it were green, because I've cooked with a green plantain before. It was fine, but this is better. What am I doing here? It's just like, oh, I see sliced, just slices. And then I got 2 cans of red kidney beans here. Let me just drain these suckers and I'll meet you over at the stove. It's just over here, but that's where I'll see you. You can continue to simmer right there. Got like a bigger frying pan for this. And actually, I think I may have found the pronunciation of this word.
IIbiharage.
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 IIbiharage. Sorry, I'm working on it. I'm just gonna call it the bean and onion dish for now, with plantains. So in a pan here goes 2 tablespoons of red palm oil. I should mention that that is organic, fair trade, has the sustainable like logo on it, all that stuff. I mean, that's the best you can do, right? Heat that up. Let's get the onion in there. Once I've cooked those onions for like 10 minutes, in go the kidney beans. Whoa, yeah. Get the plantain. And then around a teaspoon of chili flakes. We got sweet and spicy. And then I will season to taste. Cook that on like a medium-ish, medium-high-ish heat for a minute. And then I add 2 cups of water, simmering this until the plantains are cooked through and the water has reduced by half. Isombe over here. And so remove the beef bones from your stew. Okay, let's serve this thing. Beans and the onions with the plantains. Some of the liquid in there, that would be nice on the plate too. Then maybe some like crushed peanuts on top, just kind of my little touch to the dish. Order up! Tried this without the spinach and the recipe was right. It was like bitter. It has like an earthy flavor to it, but with the spinach, it kind of takes that away. Because you have the beef and chicken seasoning in this thing. And then you kind of combine it with the sweet and spicy of this other dish. And it's just the best of both worlds. Get a plantain on there, why don't you? You may think from the appearance of the Isombe that it's dry or something, but it's not. It's creamy. I was just pleasantly surprised by how good that was. I enjoyed everything about it. It was a lot of flavors and a lot of different things going on that it's just unexpected. And you know what? That's the whole point of this series is to be curious and to try foods that I wouldn't ordinarily try or that I even knew were a thing. Well, I knew this one was a thing around 6 months ago when I planned for it, but other than that, I didn't know anything about it. Well, that's all the countries in the letter B. I'm done. Burundi was the last one. That only took 2.5 years. So that's great. And moving on to the letter C. I'll see you next time in another country that starts with the letter C. See you later.